Okay, that was quick. Awesome. Okay, we are live. Okay, I'm trying to post a comment saying I'm live, and it says failed to post a comment. Great start. Okay, you did it. Now I just said live. Okay, guys. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there with me. Hello, everyone. I'm Sudha Jamthe, and this is Sudha Live. So it's Friday here in Silicon Valley for me, and I'm ready to wrap up the week. Just waiting to have this conversation with you, and then I'm off. Okay, so what do we do here? I've been seeing a bunch of new faces on LinkedIn and my newsletter and various channels. So this is Sudha Live, and this is where we look at what is the latest, greatest that's happening in the AI world, especially Gen AI world, and make sense of it. And then my job here is to bring you AI opportunities, so jobs and events and call for papers and any kind of opportunity that enhances your learning in this AI space. Okay, so if you are new, everything that I'm going to be sharing here, you don't need to take frantic notes or anything. This is streaming live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So thank you for those of you who are diligently joining me on YouTube, though I don't take your questions. Awesome. I'm seeing the number of people go up on LinkedIn. Okay. I'm just going to make sure that um, I am able to see you guys. And okay. I just want to make sure that I'm able to see you on LinkedIn so that I can keep a window and continue the conversation. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I see, at least the way I see you is I just see the number of count of people going up. Oh my God, is it awesome? Awesome, awesome. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you finding time to be here on a Friday evening with me or wherever you are in the world. Maybe you're in a different time zone and it's already Saturday for you, but I appreciate that. So let's make this worthwhile. If you feel comfortable, you can say something, tag a friend or ask a question, share something that you saw in this week in this whole new Gen AI space, or tell us about something you're working, or ask me a question. Anything is fine, and together we'll find answers. And if you don't want to talk, I see the numbers go up and you guys are not adding a comment. It doesn't matter as long as you're here. And if you find anything I'm saying useful, you can use one of the emojis. I've never had anybody use the funny laughing emoji before. Maybe, I've not said anything that was like comedic release. Let's see. So feel free to send an emoji out, so at least I know that you're listening and we are engaged and stuff. Okay, so it's March 1st. It's Women's Month, and we're going to have International Women's Day on next Friday. So I'm going to do something different next Friday, where every year for International Women's Day, for at least for the past couple years, I do something called women's planning, and I have amazing women come in and explain what their area of work and work passion, what they're working on, some topic that they pick, and explain it in 2 minutes. So it's a video. And so if you're watching this and you've not done this with me before, you're welcome. Or you can recommend somebody in your universe that you think should be part of this. I'll send them a link that they can send a 2 minutes video back, and we'll compile this and put this together. And if you want to get a sense of what that looks like, it is right here. There is a list, there is a playlist on my YouTube called Women's Planning. And I'm going to go to that list and you can get a taste for what that is. I don't know which one is going to play because it's a shuffle list. Okay, so here we have This is, I think, from 2021. Susanna Raj is explaining what is AI ethics, women's planning.
So I'm going to women's playing AI ethics. So what is AI ethics? Let's begin with what is AI. AI is artificial intelligence, that is a broad discipline of statistical algorithmic applications built with human data that can predict, enhance, and support human tasks. Ethics is a complex but narrowly defined moral principles that guides human behaviors in society. AI ethics is about ethically designed technology that serves only the beneficial purposes of human beings. From conception to design, to application to deployment, to impact and lasting legacy, the life cycle of artificial intelligence must exist only to benefit humans, all humans, not only those who design it and profit from it, but everyone who uses it. And that is AI ethics, according to this woman.
Okay, so I hope you get an idea of this. There's a lot more, lot more. Looks like we also got one on what is data that was shared by Susanna Raj at a different time. But we have a lot of different women explaining various different topics. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm focused on Gen AI, I have a lot of people around me um, asking me about different topics and fine tuning versus rag and different kinds of rag, and so we kind of go deeper and deeper into this world of jargon. So come demystify that for me. So to make that happen, what I have done is we have set up a LinkedIn event. I'm going to share that with you. Uh, just a minute, and I'm going to share that window so you can see it. Don't want my messages showing up there. Okay. So basically, if you go to Business School of AI, if you're already following it, that's where every activity of mine is going to be streamed and all the different projects will be shared. Um, we've created an event. And the picture of the various women you're seeing is from another event that I do in April, on April 9th, called IoT Day. So usually what we do is by March, we start with women's planning with a small set of women explaining in 2 minutes. And then we build it up into this entire half an hour by each women and round the clock for 24 hours by 24 different women. Because some of them might be panels, so we might not even just do like half an hour sessions. We might have like a 1 hour panel with multiple women in different time zones coming in and out. So it's amazing stuff. And That's for IoT Day. So this is women's planning. So if you want to just participate, just sign in, and I will be streaming the compilation of women's planning from this year at morning, I think on the 8th, at 9:30 my time here in Pacific time. And Again, during Sudha Live, I'll be doing one more segment of that. So that's the plan. And then if you're interested in speaking and women's planning, you're welcome. If you want to nominate somebody, it's great. If you want to be talking on a bigger session and be part of our IoT Day, that also is fine. It's all women power and women's plan. So there is, no fluff. You learn something. So join me. Okay. And again, if you want to see what is she talking about, what does this look like, all you have to do is go to my YouTube, and then you will see IoT Day recordings for various topics. If you would women's planning is also there as a playlist. And if you don't, if you're not even thinking about this, if you just say I want to learn AI and demystify jargons and career pivot and get into that, you can just do that too, because that's what all these women are teaching us. And as I am in this mode, thinking about Women's Day, I used to do this, right? I mean, I'm thinking of multiple women who inspired me in this week. And I used to do this where I'll start the session and I'll say, these are the people who inspired me. I don't know. I've been so lucky that it's not like one or two people that I could just make a note and come back and show you by end of the week. It's been a pretty inspiring week with a lot of different people. So I was telling you how I went and did my recording for my next LinkedIn course on generative AI. I'm not allowed to tell you more on the details of the launch or the exact specifics of the topic and stuff, but it's coming, generative AI in my world of specialty in no code. So I did post a little clip on LinkedIn sharing my excitement. So I did the recording in Carpinteria, which is near LA, on the way to LA from here. That was my big activity, right? And then this week I'm back, I'm teaching classes. We had our weekly Wednesday. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the weekly Wednesday. And then we had this LinkedIn instructors meetup, which happens periodically, and timing worked out. My heart was still left in carpentry. I'm missing the LinkedIn learning team that had made me so smart and worked so hard on all the recording and the production work. And so I basically attended this, and I was so inspired. This was like so many people. It's on a Zoom remote, because this LinkedIn instructors, we are all spread out. But I was very inspired. And then they do a little breakout session with a group, multiple groups of us, so that we can kind of talk to each other and share best practice and stuff like that. And so I have a couple people from there who I want to give a shout out to. um and it happened that there, some of them are women, so it works out for Women's Day, but I'm not going to limit to women. So this is Frida L. Thomas, especially for those of you who are in my world, learning the latest in generative AI and AI, and you're thinking about, I'm looking at the latest greatest in um, um, the exponential technology. I'm not even stuck on AI right now. Everything is AI. Every company is saying they are pivoting to AI. Apple announced that they are going to stop their electric car Titan that they've been working on for a while, and they're just going to put all their focus on generative AI. That's happening around us. But exponential technologies, this been going on for a while. So I've thought autonomous vehicles, I've thought internet of things, I focus a lot on data and value creation from data. So a lot of my students are focused on career pivoting, or like just getting out of career stagnation, like Frida is saying. So this is the course is all focused on the same topic, and how to get over career stagnation. So I wanted to give a shout out to Frida Thomas. The other person, am I going to do one at a time and stop my share and go back? I'm still on my Chrome, so I have to get in and out, guys. Bear with me. Um, Here is Gabriella Waters. She's a AI/ML researcher on neurodiversity and a neurodiversity proponent. So I would recommend following their research work. And who else do I have here? One second. Let me clean up some of the windows so I can go between them and get you exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay. And then one of my favorite students, I want to do a call out to, is Viola Mibak. And she took my AI ethics and AIX design course at Barcelona Technology School a couple years back, and her team ended up building something with GPT-3. At that point, it was just GPT-3, GPT 3.4, GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 was not out. And they said, can we get access to GPT and can we build something with it? And they ended up building something like ChatGPT. Not kidding. But it is for the enterprise and fostering innovation and stuff. So Viola is at Accenture Song, and she's such a creative person. Such a creative person. So you should definitely follow her on her work, and her posts are very amazing. And I remembered Viola this week because as I was talking to some of my newer batch of students, they're coming up with fresh ideas, and which, and they want to go change the world. And I was thinking about what Viola did. Viola was this group. It's not just Viola, it's three people in a team who ended up creating this chat gpt like software from their masters in UX design at Barcelona Technology School. They were going to build a startup. I don't think it happened, and then they went off into different directions. But she's a design researcher, and so I feel very hopeful when I see the next generation of students who are coming up with fresh ideas. Maybe they are creating something like ChatGPT 2 years ahead of time. And as a technology futurist, I'm very happy, and as a teacher, I'm very proud of my students because that's my calling, right? So wanted to call out Viola because I was referencing her work and quoting her to my current batch, and so she may be a good person for you to follow. And it seems like a perfect shout out when I'm looking at International Women's Day and Women's Week and saying, who is doing what and who are some of the people to follow. And then this is an amazing person. I don't know them very personally, but I ended up getting to know her this week. Um, Let me go back, share my screen. So I write guess. I'm one of the editors, contributing editors at Automated Buildings, and I have shared my work there many times. In fact, uh, Ken Sinclair here is Kelly Sinclair. Ken Sinclair, who used to be heading this whole, who's a founder of Automated Buildings magazine, um, inspires me every time he talks to me, and we talk about technology and say, where is it going, what is happening. And his passion is about automated buildings, as the name of his magazine says. And so we would talk about how automation is coming into buildings and how automation is coming elsewhere and how they are going to collide and what is going to happen. So I believe we had Ken Sinclair come into Weekly Bed and have a conversation with us in one of our sessions. If you want to go look it up on my YouTube at the Weekly Bed playlist. But what I wanted to do here was they are evolving to more news and discussion and the like. And I wanted to give a call out to our new editorial board chair, Kelly Sinclair. So I ended up getting to know Kelly a little bit, and I'm going to post an article about this women's planning for International Women's Day. And usually, what I like to do is not just say, "Oh, I'm doing women's planning," and but who are these women? What are they going topics they're going to talk? So you can learn something from them. So I'm going to showcase a bunch of amazing women who are going to be doing women's planning on next Friday, the 8th, and you will see that at Automated Building. So congratulations, Kelly, on being the new editorial board chair. And what else have I got? I had a window with Kelly Sinclair open already. Okay, guys, I see, the way I see this is I see a notification and I have to kind of reload my thing. So if you are, I see people liking my post. That's awesome, guys. If you want to participate, I see some new faces. Awesome. So I would love for you to add a comment or question or say something. If I missed your comments, you might have to redo it because I am the way I'm seeing it is I see the notification coming back in and out of the window, so I have to reload it. And so if I missed a comment, uh, please add it because I want to see. Are you doing something for International Women's Day? It's not just about women because it's 50% of the world, and there's published stats on how this makes world a better place when you look at things more equitably. So I would like to know, who would you nominate? Who is there a women? I mean, I remember that I think UN had like a he for she campaign a couple years back when maybe 5 years back, I think, when I started the whole IoT Day Women series of live streams. So we had a bunch of women who signed up to this UN campaign on he for she and came nominated women. I would love to see some of you do that. Is there any women that you follow for their work, admire their work, read their books, take their class, work with them? Um, and they're your colleagues, in any form, if you appreciate their work, I would love for you to nominate them and just, give a shout out to them. It doesn't have to be big, massive nomination. Go fill a form somewhere or do anything, but tell me what they're good at. Tell me what, how do you know them, or what is their area of specialty, and just tag them. I would love to hear that. And then if those people are, ready to participate in women's planning or IoT Day Women, I would invite them. If not, I'll just follow their work. So I'll really appreciate those of you who are quiet and not, commented. Tag a woman and tell me who's the women that whose work you admire and follow. And I would love to, follow that person. Okay, so I've been doing a lot of shout outs. If I go on, I could go on even longer. There's a few more women I met at the IoT, at the LinkedIn event. I'm saying IoT Day because I've been talking about this at the LinkedIn LinkedIn Learning Instructors meetup. But I was just thinking, there could be more. I could do more of it, but I'm going to take a break because I'm going to come back and talk to you about my promise to tell you what's the latest greatest that happened this week, and what is the AI opportunity in here. So, what do you think is the latest according to you, or in the world of generative AI? What was the big news according to you? What is the big one that you saw? I have my notes. I'm going to go and tell you what I saw, which I think is the greatest thing that happened. At least I see that was the most impactful one or most interesting one from my perspective. But what do you think is your view of what is the latest in this world? So I'm going to wear my glasses and see if you're commenting, saying about anybody. I'm going to come back to the LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay, I see more people joining, guys. Come on, talk to me and tell me, do you have a women that you want to call out for International Women's Day? Tag the person. Or if you, have seen something in a launch in the Gen AI space, or a new jargon that you want me to demystify, talk to me. I just don't want to give you a scrolling list of jobs and events and whatnot. I could do that too. You want me to do that? Okay. So then, instead of starting with the launches and stuff, let me go straight to my scroll list. So I need my glasses for this one. So I believe in the events, we have a big events list we have shared at the newsletter. A lot of those, are still happening. But the new two new things that I'm seeing, I'm very excited about, is March 2nd. There is a person, her name is Alagu Prakalya, and she's talking about building GPT models for Tamil language at an event called Kalambagam 24. This is run by AI Tamil Nadu. It's a virtual meetup. Let me see if I can pull up that link. Sweet. How did they get this particular uh, link? Bitly. That's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to add a bunch of these links back to the in the Jamthe newsletter. So I'm not going to go share the page and come out for every one of them, guys, because I keep sharing in and out, in and out. Not fun. If it's an important enough link that by seeing the link there's something that you learn that's useful, then I'm going to share. If it's just an event link, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So the other thing is, there is a CineQuest um, film festival that is happening in San Jose next week from March 7th. And the day before, on March 6th, is called AI Day. And I am very excited about it. And they made AI Day open, and it's at the Hammer Theater Center in San Jose. And let me show you that one. So if you want to see any of the films, you're welcome to go sign up and see them. I think you can sign even for a single film and go. You can buy all kinds of combination packages that they have. But what they've done is they have a whole series of activities which they call as the AI Day on March 6th, and that one is free. So this is G Wang's keynote that's at 1:30, and I'm not going to read through the whole thing. And this is more keynotes, a bunch of open conference experience, entertainment, Uh, and then there's a panel called Powers and Pitfalls. How can we not talk about AI with creatives and not be honest about what are we really doing here? Do we know what we are doing here? So that'll be a fun discussion. Uh, and then this is interesting. I had not seen this one: creativity, consciousness, and AI. Um, and then there is a town hall with our San Jose mayor at the end of the day. Okay, so that is open for all. Cinequest.org and AI Day on March 6th. March 6th, I believe, is a Wednesday. So it's the same day we have our IoT Day. And I keep saying IoT Day because my head is so full of IoT Day. Um, our weekly Wednesday on Wednesday happens every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and that is on Wednesday morning. So that's the day. So that's how I'm trying to remember. I don't miss this because I'm going to do weekly Ved in the morning, and then I'm going to go for some of the AI Day events. Hopefully, that's kind of my plan. So let's see how it works out. And then, so that's the event. And you wanted me to just kind of go through a list, right? So that's what I'm doing. There is a Compute for Climate Fellowship. There is a IDEO Creative Residency call. And then, given my love for mobility, Toyota Research Innovation is called for EIRs. It's more than one EIR that they're looking for, I believe. Um, and I have shown in the past, I've shown the autonomous vehicle from Toyota that drives around right here on El Camino. And in fact, if you go to my YouTube, the intro video that shows what is my channel about has a bunch of videos of my self-driving car clips, and I'm standing in front of the Toyota self-driving car and talking. It's so noisy. It Because the car is still running, right, and the motors and everything is running. um, they're back and they're going to do something. I don't know what it is, but they want to foster innovation and with startups. So they're calling for people with experienced people who want to be entrepreneur in residence and go uh, um, look at what is out there and come up with startup ideas, or maybe they will bring in startups into the mix, and then the EIRs will get to participate in it. It typically happens. I've seen this in with VC firms, where a senior person who leaves some company would come and be a EIR and float around, look at various different companies, and then help kind of scale this company by bringing their experience as a BD person or a marketing person or a CTO or something like that. And so it looks like a 6-month paid EIR. So that looks like a very interesting opportunity, but they're calling for people with experience, especially in the mobility space. So I think this is perfect for many of my students. So I'd like you to check it out. So much for the jobs list and events list. There's a lot more events, but it's all going to go into the Jamthe newsletter. So now I'm going to go to the launches of this week, and I'm excited about one of them. I want more information. I want to play with it. All I've got is their video, but that's all right. So let me see whether I can get you directly to the video. So I've shown you about how UIB has done a bunch of chatbots. There's even a case study on that in my book. I would like to let me. Okay, I'm just getting the. It's very noisy, attractive site. I'm just trying to get that window open while I'm talking to you, and it is distracting me because it's got a lot of. You'll see what is distracting me, because I like shiny objects. So this is. I wanted to give a shout out to Niket Trivedi, who's a senior director of product management at Salesforce. I have worked with Niket at eBay. And I headed mobile analytics, supporting product managers and some our BU for various regions and for growth. And Niket was a product manager and fantastic person. So I'm very, very happy to see the success of Niket's team in building out this new product called Einstein Copilot. So there's a Copilot app from Microsoft that you can download on your phone, and they've kind of consolidated the chatbot of Microsoft is called Copilot. So Copilot is kind of becoming like a standard terminology now, and Salesforce already had this AI called Einstein. So very smartly, they have called a name called Einstein Copilot. Okay. Yes, I am not sharing that window. I'm just talking to you. Okay, let me show you that window with Nikit's LinkedIn profile, guys. Thank you for that. Okay, so here is Niket Trivedi. I would recommend following him if you are into product management, if you are into the Salesforce ecosystem, or the latest greatest on building Gen AI chatbots, especially if you're thinking about enterprise. But let me tell you what they have that is interesting for me from my work on Gen AI and working with companies, working with my students who want to go make stuff happen that actually creates value for people, right? Okay. So you're seeing this window? Yes. This is the one. Look at that. Won't it distract you? It did. Yes. Okay, so I think that's the Einstein logo, but the way it comes jumping is distracting. Okay. Um, so this is Einstein Copilot. Create a closed plan. So this is like chatting with ChatGPT. You would wonder what can it do, and they say, can you escalate my case for approval? Can you create a 10% discount for our product line? Email campaign and promotion that you can do with ChatGPT, but it is doing something more. So what is it? What is different? Can you tell me from what you've seen? I have no affiliation with Salesforce. I have, no affiliation with any brand whatsoever. But I'm looking at the latest that is launching and then playing with them when I have access, and trying to place that relative to what is out there, or my vision of how this whole Gen AI ecosystem is evolving. And so I have looked at chatbots from UIB. I played with other things that's already launched, that's out there, that I have access. I still don't have access to Rufus. So what is different? So we you can talk to Gemini, you can talk to Copilot, you can talk to ChatGPT, and they're all like, you can say, generate this letter, write my resume. I was showing agent AI, which is Agent GPT, on doing a whole bunch of automation with AI, talking to the GPT 3.5, I think, on the background. And all of them are doing similar things, right? It is summarizing things, it is writing things, it is fetching information from its vast brain of the internet, whatnot, right? But what is this doing differently? Any guesses? Why should I get excited by one more chatbot? What is this offering to do that's different? The guess is it's coming from Salesforce. It is talking to your data that is in Salesforce. So it has a natural integration into data. So if you're using Salesforce, and all your customer data or your production data, your company information is sitting in Salesforce, it's an easy integration. So we've been hearing about RAG and how the architecture of RAG has been used to take external data source that is yours from the enterprise, and then bring it as a layer to talk to the LLM. That's exactly what they are doing too. But or it appears, I can't say exactly what they're doing. That is what it appears to me as an outsider. But they are saying it seamlessly integrates into ChatGPT, not ChatGPT, into your backend system. I don't know. I've been saying IoT day for every event, and now I'm calling everything as Chat GPT. I don't know what happened to me. Okay, so we had an interesting speaker at Weekly Wed called Malur Narayan. He's a technical advisor for Latimer, and Latimer is building AI that, at least what is available out there, is that you can actually talk to it about in a very inclusive way. It will tell you about Black history. So I've shown that to you before here. And what Malur Narayan ended up showing us was, we said, okay, come talk to us of how you're building this stuff. So I was thinking he was going to come and say, okay, here's how we made it inclusive of Black history, and this is all the content we got. Great, he did that. And they are adding more and more data sources that is more authentic data source. Because when you take something that's a biased system and you pump in unbiased data to make it inclusive, you're kind of contributing your own bias. That's the problem, why we cannot take all the data sets that's out there that's biased and start fudging with it. So we have to kind of focus on creating new data sets that's more inclusive, and we have to build applications, and from an application lens you have to see what data we need, and that's kind of the direction we're going, building AI using data sets, knowing that many of them are biased. So what they are doing is, they said, we want to provide this, and we are starting with Black history. We want to make sure that we build a system that is going to be more inclusive in every sense of the way. But to make that happen, they've defined bias metrics, and they're saying that the way you would define, there could be variables by which you would define bias different from somebody else, and so they want to give that as a control. So they're doing bias mitigation in a very systematic way. That's kind of their claim to fame, at least from what I understood from where they are today. Okay, so if you are an AI researcher who is working on bias mitigation, I'm seeing that a lot of enterprise applications, a lot of startups who are building with RAG are all saying, okay, when we build this out, like Facebook got called out, or Google got called out, we are going to be called out when our chatbot does not behave. So we have to set the tone, we have to set the boundary, and they're doing fine tuning for the tone, and they are trying to create some kind of validation systems so that the output that comes from the LLM is validated before it goes to the customer. So essentially, we are taking this architecture of something that's transformer based, takes the whole world, does deep learning, and organizes information and say what is related to what, and in its brain, and now adding a structured rule based layer in the middle to validate and police its output. That doesn't seem very scalable. So this team from Latimer is trying to do a very take an innovative approach, and they're very open to figure out how to do this. And so, for those of you who are already working on Fairness 360 from IBM, or explainable models like Yashashwini is working on things like unmachine learning, and if you've done this kind of validation for machine learning, like Jasmine Henry has done, I would recommend you reach out to Malur Narayan, and maybe there is some research work that's be done, and there is collaboration in there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you the RAG architecture that they shared with us. I just have a screen grab of that. Yes. Okay, this is the one. And this is Malur Narayan. So you can go find him on LinkedIn. And this is their RAG architecture. And he gave a very extensive talk about the RAG architecture, how they're thinking about it, and how they want to scale it. So there's a lot of learning in that one session at Weekly Wed we had. And yes, the Weekly Wed will be at, let me find bit. I have a bit.ly for everything, thanks to Pariya Sarin. So it is bit.ly/weeklywed playlist. So I'm going to go there. Okay. Here. Sharing the screen again. Yeah, this is the one I'm trying to avoid to share again and again into multiple windows. So this is Weekly Wed playlist on my YouTube. And the latest one is from this week, and we have all our past Weekly Weds that runs on maybe 100 plus sessions. So you would see that Weekly Wed at Business School of AI, LLM Latimer, and here you can see Malur Narayan. Maybe you cannot see, it's too tiny, but this is the top one, is the latest from Malur. I would highly recommend watching this to learn about building, architecting LLM using RAG, the latest greatest, plus bias mitigation. And we kind of started the discussion on bias mitigation, and we barely scratched the surface, but they're doing some fantastic work. So you should work with them if that's the area that you're working on. So I told you about Einstein Copilot. What else has launched this week? Oh, there's a very cool lip sync from Pika. Let me show that to you. So Okay, so let me share my screen back. Um, so we heard about Sora, and then we heard 11 Labs come in and say, "Oh, with we can add voice to it." And then this team from Pika basically said, "Hey, we'll show you how do you do lip sync." I don't know what the audio is going to be. Oh, the audio is going to be the lip syncing one. Okay.
Oh my god.
I'll be damned.
Is this real?
Pika now supports lip sync, and it is truly spectacular.
Wait, hold up. These things can talk?
For real?
What kind of dark sorcery is this?
Mon Dieu, j'entends une voix. Well, I'm officially speechless.
Okay. Again, I have no affiliation with Pika Art or anybody else in the space, 11 Labs or anyone else, but when I see cool tech, I find that very, very exciting. Okay. What else do I have? Oh, there was one more. Um, like Google's game division has actually been creating AI for creating video games. I'm not into video games, so I'm not super qualified to talk much about it. But I believe the technology was developed in collaboration with University of British Columbia, and they've done hundred. They've taken training data of hundreds and thousands of gameplay videos to understand game mechanics, and it does, uh, and is trained on 200,000 hours of video. So it can generate games and potentially teach other AI models about 3D worlds. That's what is interesting for me, that it can generate games. It's not just the typical game development environment, but it can generate games and can teach other models about 3D worlds. And I have students who are coming up with project ideas where they want to create this 3D world. One of them actually wants to create this 3D world inside the car as an in-car experience for connected and autonomous vehicles. And talking of cars, I had shared the Mozilla privacy report where there's tons of data. There's a lot of privacy violation. It's called privacy in car data. That Mozilla had produced a report, and this was brought up to. I think this was called out by U.S. Senator Ed Markey, asking, sent a letter to multiple companies and stuff, asking for, is this real? What kind of data they're collecting? What does this mean? And now that is kind of escalated, and Senator Markey has sent a letter to FTC to go investigate, uh, uh, quoting this Mozilla research report, saying, let's find out what data is being collected and what's happening in the privacy space, from a privacy perspective about the car data. So I find that I'm very fascinated about value you can create from data, and I've been teaching that. So I think it would be responsible of me if I do not tell you the other side of it, that all the data that's being collected is not collected with enough permissions. And but there's been very good work on the EU AI Act. There has been a lot of other stuff on the regulation world that is, looking very, very, very promising. And I had another report that I wanted to share with you. Let me see if I can find that. Talking of privacy, um, so there was. Let me think. Let me see where that is. I think it is somewhere else here, guys. Um, just a minute. So basically, there was a privacy report of different African countries. What was the African privacy scene that I thought was very, very well done. Let me look it up. I was surprised to see that Nigeria had actually adopted a privacy policy just in 2023. And I had looked at some discussion related to that, and there was a whole bunch of other reports that was coming into that discussion. So there's a lot of stuff happening to build AI in a very privacy preserving way. Not the design aspect of it, I'm not seeing that yet. I'm seeing the um, gathering the data for training data and stuff like that. But on the production side, once you're interacting with AI, when your data is collected, how is it designed in a privacy preserving way. There's some technologies in there. I've not seen the laws related to that. Okay, so we spoke about jobs, we spoke about event, we spoke about cinequest, and Einstein Copilot, and the gaming environment from Google Games. What else am I missing? Do you guys have any burning question? Otherwise, I am ready to wrap up. Yes, I will share uh, the Jamthe newsletter link. Oh, I see some comment notification. Everybody is so quiet, and there's just yeah, you're doing the likes is not enough, guys. I'm happy you're liking this. Okay, I will tag Malur. Yes, I can do that. So the chief technology, not chief technology officer, he is the AI advisor for Latimer. Malur, AI advisor. He's a technical advisor, I think he's called, not just for AI. Technical advisor for Latimer. Must follow. Let me see, Latimer. Okay, it's not letting me tag Latimer for some reason. There we go. Okay, and that tag is okay. I am going to add more of the, yeah, I'll add the links. I will add the links. I do want you to tag other women for Women's Planning or IoT Day. And even if you're not thinking of them as nomination and big process or whatnot, right? I would like to hear for every one of you. I see the numbers up there. Who is the one woman that you work with, who you admire their work, or you go to them for answers on topics, and tell me who they are. I would love to at least give them a shout out. I don't know if they'll have the time to come and do the or the interest, to come and do the video explaining something. Some people like to do that, some don't, but that's okay. Okay, so with that, I've tagged, yes, I've added Melur Narayan in here. I will add the Jamthe newsletter. It's called bit.ly/Jamthe newsletter. Let me just add it. I don't want to keep showing it every time when I'm talking to you guys. With that, I'm going to wrap up. And so it's been an exciting week with Einstein Copilot, and I'm looking forward to more things. I don't know if it's self-selecting. Sometimes if I'm looking for information in that, then I kind of have more feeds and stuff come my way. I'm looking at RAG. I'm looking at how do you build out the uh, take enterprise data and go build something to a meaningful chatbot. And I'm seeing chatbot becoming an interface, lot of enterprise applications. So I want to see what kind of applications. We've always heard about customer service as a top application, and I'm seeing the technology aspect of drag, different RAG, whatnot. Even in the Salesforce Einstein example, I have not seen specific enterprise applications that's creating value, like in sales or marketing. Sales, it looks like some of the chatbot queries seems like sales operation, which is cool. I would like to see more from you if you're working on it, or if you've built something with ChatGPT and say this looked interesting, but I want to kind of wait and watch, and add a different LLM and go figure out how to do that. Oh, and before I wrap this session, one of the news was, I've been talking about Mistral 7B as this open source model, and Mistral got funded by Microsoft and decided to launch a new LLM model called Large, which they've already said that it won't be open source. So this was this open source company pioneering it in, and was very played a very big role in the EU AI Act. And then they kind of got their $1 billion and from Microsoft, and they really got $1 billion. And so they decided that they will now integrate into Azure and create a version that is not open source. So I've had this discussion, questions coming from people asking open source versus non-open source, and how do we decide. So a lot of people are sitting on the fence because they are kind of testing out pilots with GPT, and then Gemini came with their Duet AI. It's available only for developers, and it's selectively they're opening. So what I tell people is don't think of open source, closed source, and looks like open source is a game because it's like a freemium model. In fact, my friend Ajit Jaukar, who works at Oxford University, has done a very nice post in his newsletter on LinkedIn, thinking about this concept of open source and what does this mean and the trend that's evolving with that. So what I would urge you is to think about what is your business need, where are you going to create value, and what do you want your LLM to do. And so one of the things that I've been thinking about is, can we build something so that it's agnostic to the LLM and the backend? What does it take to kind of switch across multiple LLMs? And I've shown you this gpt.h2o.ai, where I loaded my book and I query it. My book was the data source in this example, and I query it and it talks to 4 different LLMs and gets the answer. And one of the interesting conversations I had at Weekly Wed with Malur Narayan was they have built their model for Latimer using GPT 3.5, and he was showing that they're moving to another different model. And so we had a discussion, have you already moved? And he said no, but we are in the process. So we had a fun discussion. So if you look at the Weekly Wed, tons of learning in there. And one of the discussion was like, okay, how do we move, what is involved in moving? So they are using the embeddings is done using OpenAI, so they're keeping the same embeddings. And then when they actually call the LLM, they were calling GPT 3.5, and they're now going to switch to Mistral or something else. Mistral is obviously, Mistral 7b is open source, but the new one from Mistral is not. So they're going to keep with some other open source model is kind of their plan. So they were talking about what does it take. So it looks like it takes development work to move from one to the other, but what is involved, how intricate it is, and based on what application layer. In this case, they have a query engine that is talking and doing bias mitigation. You could have built a recommendation system, you could have built a customer support system, you could have built something else based on what data you're pruning and cleaning to feed to the LLM to build the embeddings, and then build the wrapper to go talk to the different LLMs. So what does that take? That's very fascinating for me. And so if you are thinking about it, I know many of you have spoken to me about how you've tried something with Playground, but you're not moving forward, or you've tried with one because you're already a Google shop or a AWS shop in terms of your cloud. So there isn't a right answer on picking one, but you're going to bet on one if you just stick with one. So if you're building a large enterprise scale product, then you might want to plan this, making it movable or agnostic, and what does it take on your dev layer to make that happen is very fascinating for me. And I think that is a space that's going to evolve over time in terms of how this ecosystem is moving and where there are opportunities. So talk to me. I'm always curious about what use cases you're working on. Is that something that I can help you? Is there a challenge that you're facing? And let's continue the conversation. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. So going forward in Weekly Wed, I'm going to bring a little bit more. I've worked on getting inclusion for various languages. And how do you do that? Using transfer learning, using LLMs is to create multilingual language models for languages that is not supported is one of my projects that I'm working on. So I'm going to bring in more speakers related to that. And then I'm looking at enterprise applications. How do you actually make this happen? What does it mean to build a chatbot to create value to really help enterprise? That's kind of a question on top of my mind. And then I'm going to be talking to amazing women. They're going to teach me stuff, and I'll bring it to you as women's planning for next not weekly, next Sudha Live. And I'm going to do this as a session in the morning on Friday a little bit because I have to go teach class after that. And then I'm going to do this back at Sudha Live, where we can do, I'm going to show a summary of the video. So it's going to be 2-minute videos from a set of amazing women out, finding time to teach us. And so then I'm going to bring that, and I will get to share that with you. So if you have a burning question on a topic or a jargon, just say, can I learn this? And do you know this? Or if you're working on any of these, thinking about this whole value creation from any of these models, let's talk. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody. I enjoyed this conversation. and I feel like I still have so much questions unanswered. And I see every time I get that to that place, I see that, okay, that's an opportunity to innovate, and my students who are listening are actually going to go build the products in the middle, and they're going to create this innovation, or they're going to go work with companies to create that value creation. And so I'm very hopeful of that. And if you're doing that, I would like to give you a shout out. And so I'm going to close out today by giving a shout out to one of my students, Jason Marks, from who's the founder of Tello Trucks, and they've just closed a round of funding. Let me see if I have that here. Tello Trucks. Yes, they are here. Let me see. Okay, let me just call out. Let me show you what is Tello Truck in a minute. 1 second. And they are getting a lot of PR coverage, obviously. But I wanted to make sure that I can show you who I'm talking about. Let me show you Jason Marks. Okay, Jason has been my student, but I cannot take credit for any of any of his brilliance. He's a brilliant entrepreneur and amazing engineer and leader in mobility space, and he's building out changing EV space. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen and then I'm going to wrap up. So I think they've raised like 25 million. Hold on. Here is Jason Mark. So congratulations, Jason and the Tello Trucks team. Here is Tello Trucks, and you can see them. You can actually go and see the Tello truck. And in fact, if you are local in Bay Area, you can come and stop by and say hello and check out that product. But now with the 25 million, they're constantly executing and moving forward, but they'll find time because they're very hungry for market feedback. The way I saw Jason come up with ideas in my autonomous vehicle class was he was build something and then connect with other people and then adapt to the market and try to find that fit, constantly building something and mapping to the market. And so he literally did that same project approach that he did in class was what he's built, and he scaled, and he has a very solid team. So I'm very, very optimistic about Tello Trucks and Jason Mark's team. So with that, I'm going to close out. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you next week. Bye. I'm going to stop the live stream first.